and welcome to this lecture. Today we are going to discuss nephritic syndrome, and I'm presenting the case of an 45 years old male. He is brought to the hospital with a 2-day history of malaise, fever of 38.8 centigrade, nausea and vomiting. He has decreased urine output and that his urine is dark smoky color. His blood pressure is slightly elevated and there is some swelling on his hand and feet and around his eyes. He has been in good health except for sore throat a week or so ago. Oliguria, hematuria, proteinuria, hypertension, edema, and impaired renal functions was observed. Most likely diagnosed Most likely diagnosis is nephritic syndrome and most likely cause because of the streptococcal in glomerulonephritis. So what is acute post-infective post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis? It is very interesting thing that the name of these diseases are so long, 4 words. Acute post-infectious post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis. So sarcastically, the even you need to memorize the name of the disease is a tough task for you. But it is one of the most frequently occurring glomerular disorder caused by the glomerular deposition of the immune complex, and that leads to proliferation and then result in infiltration of leukocytes caused because of the streptococcal and staphylococcal infection, as well as other viral diseases such as mumps, measles, chickenpox, hepatitis B and C, or endogenous antigens as occur in systemic lupus erythematosus. So when we take a look of the pathogenesis, it involves a typical immune complex disease such as hypocomplementemia, granular deposition of IgG, and complement activation of GBM, glomerular basement membrane. Morphology consists of the increased cellularity of the glomerular tuft, the proliferation and swelling of the endothelial and mesangial cells by infiltrating neutrophils and monocytes. Let's take a look of the electron dense subepithelial hump with this arrow pointing out along the basement membrane. This is dense subepithelial hump and intramembranous deposition. BM stand for basement membrane, CL stand for capillary lumen, then EP stand for epithelial cells, and E stand for endothelial cells. So the main thing is that there will be the presence of intramembranous deposition in the form of subepithelial hump. This is another morphological picture. They are talking about the abundance of intracapillary leukocytes, and that's the main characteristic that will be observed under this microscopic study. The clinical course consists of following uh, properties such as malaise, proteinuria, fever, nausea, azotema, oliguria, nephritic syndrome. The urine will be appear as smoky brown rather than bright red in color. Next is IgA nephropathy, which is the deposition of IgA in the mesangium, and it is a disorder that causes inflammation and bleeding, especially in the small blood vessels in your skin, joint, intestine, or kidney. When we take a look of the pathogenesis, it involves the genetic factors that is responsible for IgA nephropathy, and that IgA nephropathy involving abnormal IgA level, which is known as a glycosylate IgA, abnormal production of IgA, and abnormal clearance of IgA that involve an increasing of the IgA subtype. So the main thing in IgA nephropathy is the increase of the IgA caused because of either abnormal production of IgA or abnormal clearance of IgA, or because of the abnormal production of glycosylate IgA. So there are a number of factors involving, and they are deposited in the mesangium, as I discussed before. Plus, why this happened? It had happened because of the number of genetic factors, and because of the HLA and complement genotypes, or sometimes because of the bacteria and virus and food protein. This is another picture of morphological characteristics, and if you take a look of that fluorescent sections, they are indicating the abundance or presence of IgA, and they are usually deposited as in the mesangial cells in the matrix. So you can see they are present between the mesangial matrix or inside the mesangial cells. Clinical course: gross hematuria after infection of the respiratory or gastrointestinal or urinary tract. Then 30 to 40% have microscopic hematuria with or without proteinuria, whereas 5 to 10% develop nephritic syndrome. Whereas the disease slow progression leads to chronic renal failure, around 25 to 50 cases over a period of 20 years. So the learning objective for this topic is we able to discuss the pathogenesis, morphology, and clinical cause of different type of nephritic syndrome. So thank you so much.